Moving forward for our next and the last speaker for this caravan is the chairman of the EE Department of USGR or University of San Jose Recoletos, the former president, no? In the year 2013, at the same time, 2017 IIEE Cebu chapter. He was also the committee chair for this year, 2023, PE Mentoring Cebu chapter. He was also the member of CHED, Regional Quality Assurance Team for BSEE program. He became the USGR Project Management Unit, MEPF Coordinator, USGR Quadricentennial Building. He was also an electrical consultant, AE Ombao Consultancy and Engineering Services. He conducts electrical safety inspector for buildings, conducts seminar awareness on electrical safety for public school teachers, and finished his master's in engineering in University of San Carlos, Talamban Campus 2001 under the DOST Scholarship Program. He finished his Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering at USGR as cum laude. Now, without further ado, dili na nila lang ngayon pa. Let's welcome our next, the last but not the least speaker for this caravan, Engineer Roel L. N. Militar, PEE.
Hello, Larry. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the last discussion or topics to delivered for the this technical caravan. So you notice that the last or previous topics is more on the operation and maintenance. So the first one is about the electrical thermography, the switchgear testing equipment, facilities maintenance, preventive maintenance for commercial equipment, transformer operating and testing, substation operation and maintenance of medium voltage and low voltage. Then the last, diesel generator control, protection, and maintenance. So now, sad to say that the topic listed in the one is not the pre and post disaster safety evaluation, but I'm presenting. Can I share my screen, Larry?
Wala pa po, sir. Wala pang na-share na po na screen.
How
Wala
about
pa.
this one?
Ayan po, sir. F5 na lang siguro. Ayan.
Okay, that one.
Okay na po, sir.
Okay, so I'll be delivering topic about the electrical safety audit in industrial facilities. So given by talking about the electrical safety audit is not common to all, but practically this is the conducted for several years. But let us make a clear definition about what is this electrical safety audit in industrial facilities. So this is my outline. So I think we have this will be our last discussion. So this is my outline about the backgrounder, the definition of electrical safety according to the NFPE 70E, then the term audit. So this will apply not only in terms of financial, but could be also in terms of electrical safety. Then here, the term electrical safety audit, the purpose, the scope, the elements of electrical safety audit, and some pictures taken during the conduct of inspection in building. So this is again, you notice that we are always concerned more on the operations and maintenance of our electrical equipments in our respective workplace. And we can say that electricity is an essential part of our daily life. So no nation can survive the present developmental challenges without electric power. So that's why our work related to electricity is very essentials, no, in terms of nation building. Electric power should not only be available, reliable, and affordable, but above all, safe. So one of the primary advocacies of our organization is the electrical safety. Again, some causes of fires, due the reasons are faulty electrical wiring. Never, we could call this one as a faulty electrical wiring. There is no faulty electrical wiring, but might be misuse or sometimes we abuse. So that's why it will cause a fire. But never there is a faulty electrical wiring. Now, according to NFPA 70E, electrical safety is recognizing hazard associated with the use of electrical energy and taking precautions so that hazards do not cause injury or death. So I think all of us here in this Zoom, we are familiar about what are these electrical hazards, no? So those are the electrical shock, arc plus, arc blast, some others. Electrical safety should be a primary concern. So I think we have this series of topics of discussion this day where we're talking about the operations and maintenance in order to operate uh, the electrical equipments. Likewise, this electrical safety should be also because of our primary concern of all electrical practitioners, no? Not only in our respective workplace, but in the whole community. So the electrical safety, the need for regular electrical inspections. So how frequent, no, of all workplaces and residences. So some companies, they have their annual, weekly, monthly. So we need also to have this to conduct in our respective places or workplaces. And likewise, our respective residences. Now, one of the advocacy of the electrical safety simply to save lives, property, and economic losses. So we know all what happened if we have we encounter electrical fires in respective areas. So this is the advocacy, no? To save lives, the property, and also the economic losses. And what are the strategy in order to promote this advocacy? So we have this to educate our respective communities where we belong, and likewise to promote, no, about this electrical safety. So that is also why that we celebrate the IIEE, we celebrate the electrical safety month every month of May. So that is considered as our practice. So the month of May. Now, we simply define audit. No, I think we all know about the financial. So most common, the term audit is we refer it in our financial capabilities, financial check. But the term audit simply an official inspection of an individual's or organization's account, typically by qualified, no, the term qualified and competent independent body. And that is also will relate our topic about the electrical safety audit in industrial facilities. So the official inspection of an individual's or an organization's account. So we will be relating this in terms of electrical practices in our respective workplaces by a qualified and competent independent body. Who are qualified? Who are the competent body or independent body? Okay, in general, we define an electrical safety audit as a thorough survey, inspection, review, and evaluation of an electrical systems, which is already in operation for several years and or newly completed, no, and a newly completed by an electrical contractor. I think some of us or most of these participants, some are contractors, no. So then there will be an electrical safety audit. no, a thorough survey and inspection and review all. So the entire electrical systems, no, from the supply until the in the operations. So the purpose of this electrical safety audit is simply to identify, no, the potential hazardous electrical situations and provide the immediate corrective actions for this situation. So to identify, so meaning what are the hazards along the operations, no, in the operations of the company. So the potential hazard, no, in the electrical situation and provide the immediate corrective actions for this. So that is the main purpose for this electrical safety audit. It is a formal and comprehensive examination of the entire facilities of a particular building, establishment, plant, and residence. So the comprehensive examination, so that means that it's not only a single day, but it depends upon how big is the system, especially the company. So you can imagine that you are examining or a survey or the entire facilities. Okay, so that depends for how long. So that matters also in terms of how big is the no, the facilities. So it's not only for the building establishment, the plant, but of course our respective places, no, ato ang our respective residences. So how do we regularly check our electrical connections? How many times we use this temporary extension? Sometimes it become permanent. Not until na may nangyari, then you have to do something. Okay? So analytical safety audit is also a systematic procedure to evaluate potential electrical hazards and to recommend measures to minimize and prevent these hazards. The electrical shock, the electrical arcs, and the electrical blast. So these are the common electrical hazards that we might encounter in our respective places. Now you can see the figures here. So this is conducted during the electrical inspections of one of the buildings in Cebu City. But we cannot do this only an walkthrough, no, by asking the personnel or the building engineer, the operations. So a lot of questions being given to the personnel, to the building personnel, so that we will know the capacity or the operations. Then at the same time, an opportunity to look for hazards around the building. Now, there are observations that can be classified into 6 major areas in the electrical safety audit. So you can start the design features. Okay, so by looking at the plans, how long or what particular year that this building is being designed, the constructions and installations, the maintenance aspect, no, the training needs of the personnel, where some of the buildings are operated by an outsource from other services. So what are the training needs from them, facilities and procedures, and the management commitment. So management commitment, it's very important role because they will look at also the entire operations. So not only they are operational, but also the needs of this building maintenance, operators, and most likely the building engineers. Now, so once the audit is being conducted, a recommendation is identified, no, during the audit. So recommendation as identified in the audit should be implemented on a time-bound program. It's not a process of you can find the hazards, then automatically you have to implement, but in the time-bound program. But likewise, it will be depend on the nature of the hazards. So if it is corrected immediately, why not? But if the hazard is looks like need some propose or some methodology, then we need to have a schedule or a time in order to correct those those hazard identified. Then and should be also closely monitored for timely. So the recommendations from the auditor who conduct the audit should be implemented, but need also a review from the management. For buildings, electrical audit is usually conducted immediately upon turnover of the project to the owner. Okay, so this is the process. So after it will be turned over, then it will be conducted, or an electrical audit is conducted based on what is in the design. So it should be upon the turnover of the project, but not more than 1 year after. However, the plant audit can be conducted as required by the management technical personnel. So if the management technical personnel need to conduct, then it's a must, no? It's necessary also to conduct electrical audit. So what are the benefits of this electrical safety audit or the ESA? So first, for the preventive maintenance. So it helps in identifying the problem which can lead to potential hazards. Okay, the increased levels of safety, the compliance, the effective operation and maintenance, energy savings, clarification of electrical safety responsibility are the basic benefits of this electrical safety audit. So electrical safety audits ensure safety of the operations for the personnel and of course for the machineries. It has become mandatory in various sectors to undergo electrical safety audit after a specified time span. So where some LGUs are required to have this electrical safety inspections. So it's more on compliance. Then a timely energy audits identifies the upcoming issues and its recommendation to ensures an effective operation and maintenance of the facilities. So overheating is the major problem in the electrical network, which leads to power losses. So in this case, you can save energy by timely electrical safety audit so that you can have a savings on this. Then likewise, the responsibility, who will be the responsible for this electrical safety? It's not the safety department, but everyone is responsible for this electrical safety. Again, here, who are qualified to conduct an electrical safety audit? So licensed electrical engineers with vast experience in design and constructions and maintenance are qualified. Then it should be conducted also by the professional electrical engineers and or registered electrical engineers. So those licensed professionals, PEE, REE, are qualified to conduct electrical safety audit. Of course, with an experience in design and construction and maintenance. The scope of electrical safety audit, first we have physical inspection of the plant with reference to applicable standards. So at least those who are qualified, those who are conducting the safety audit or electrical safety audit should know also the applicable standards, specifically the Philippine Electrical Code and other related standards. Okay, so the codes, practices, and identifying electrical hazards. Reviewing the role of electrical safety in the total safety system. No? So we have in the company, so where is not only there is no accident during all the operations, but you have to consider also the review of the role of electrical safety as a total, no, in a total operations or total safety systems. It will review also the protection devices, systems of electrical installations, review of adequacy of cables, motors, etc. based on actual load currents, measurements, and cable current carrying capacity. So where most likely it will applicable, especially if the buildings are operating for how many years after the installation, no? So let's say mga 10 to 15 years. So every time that there's an occupancy or they get the operational, start to operate, so most likely a lot of additional loads will come in. Okay, so there must be also a review on this, the adequacy of the cables, motors, and other uh, or cable carrying capacities if still suitable for the operations. Examination of adequacy of plant lightning protection systems as per national and international standards to suggest recommendation as per applicable standards. It's more about the lightning protections. It will review of the hazardous area classification carried out in the plant and to review the selection, installation of special electrical equipment to suggest recommendations as per applicable standards. It will review also the electrical preventive maintenance program in the plant and to examine the documentation, checklist, work permit, test records, etc. and to suggest recommendation as per applicable standards. So those testing results, so it will be also reviewed, no, when someone conduct this electrical safety audit. So it will be reviewed also by the qualified personnel. To identify training needs of the plant employees from the point of view of electrical safety. To review of electrical accidents, to identify root cause of the accidents, and to evaluate the earthing system, the installation and maintenance in the plant, and to suggest some recommendations. It will review also the following test records, evaluating the test results and to suggest recommendation as applicable standards on the transformer oil test, insulation resistant test, and the earth resistance test. So where it is very important also. So some are required to have this annual inspection of this electrical equipment, no, to conduct this transformer oil test, insulation resistant test, and the earth resistant test. Now, when we see a proper electrical safety audit, it will identify the electrical wiring and components that may have degraded over time, no? Especially if the load is increasing without checking the capacity of the wires, then it will identify also by the engineer who conduct this electrical safety audit. It will reveal if any electric circuits are overloaded. It will reveal if any lack of earthing or bonding, identify any defective wiring or other mistakes made by non-certified electricians or the do-it-yourself individuals, spot oversized fuses or breakers that may cause an electrical fire hazard. So find any potential electric shock risk. No, so that will be also the identify when you conduct a proper electrical safety audit. Another concern about this ESA is the elements. So there are three elements of the electrical safety audit. The pre-audit, the actual audit and the post-audit. So the efficacy of the audit largely depends on the pre-audit and the post-audit sections. Pre- and post-audit elements are user or client dependent, and obviously the audit depends on the audit team. Unless the objectives of the electrical safety audits are clearly defined and audit recommendations being considered. So the electrical safety audit program will not be successful. So it should be clear it by to the client about the purpose or the objectives of the electrical safety audit. So in a pre-audit meeting, where a discussion, the main guidelines with the management team, of course, and other concerned department involved in this audit, electrical safety audit. Single point coordination is recommended. Awareness of the entire electrical installation should be communicated with all departments to get the required informations. Of course, those audit team, the third party, will be asking some the design or the complete plans of the entire facilities. Okay, so in the pre-audit meeting, the areas to be visited and the activities to be inspected should be agreed with the members of the management concerned before the auditing begins para clear ang objectives for this ASA. So we have to brief the clients, officers, audit. You have to clear the clients, officers, the audit scope, the methodology, and other needed information para makuha lahat yung information for the entire facilities. So possible requirements in the pre-audit meeting or pre-audit conducting the pre-audit. So a permission to photograph electrical hazards. Of course, this is confidential only for the client, only for the building management to identify this electrical hazard. So asking the permission to take pictures so that it will be aware, or it will be the personnels or the building personnels aware about these hazards. Assistance of an electricians to carry out various measurements, tests, including the test instruments as necessary. Okay, so sometimes in a building where electricians should be guide you where are the electrical equipment located. Likewise, in asking for some test results for verification. So these are the simple terms of pre-electrical safety audit questionnaires for a guide. So the process details, of course, the single line diagram from the source towards to the load. The nameplate details of major electrical equipment, the transformer, the generator, the MBSG, the LBSG, and the rest of the major electrical equipments. Then details of classified zones in the plant, details of flammable chemicals handled in the plant, details of electrical accident in the plant, if any, details of addition, expansion of the plant, including electrical installation. So very common in the industrial facilities, the expansion and addition of electrical installation without checking the main supply. Kaya pa ba? No, but most of the feedback, it's okay. I think no major accidents happen. So you can add an additional unit or loads. No? So here, no? Then overview of electrical maintenance systems. So the engineer who conduct the electrical safety audit will take note of these details of the major equipment of the building, of the facilities. So likewise, the it has acknowledged also the process, the supply from the source going into the insulation, electrical insulation of the facilities. Okay. So the questionnaire is a vital tool for successful inspection, and time spent on its preparation is as valuable as that taken by the audit itself. So there are initial questionnaires, but that is only intended for the pre-audit, more on the meetings of the personnel with the building engineer or even the technicians who guided the auditor. Okay, so there's also a guide or a tool. So where the auditor will rely also on that questionnaires, know those answers of the building personnel in the questionnaires given. So the electrical safety audit checklist to be prepared based on various applicable standards and codes of practice. Included in the checklist. So where there are checklists to be guided or will be the guide for the auditor. So in what particular places or in what particular area in the electrical systems of the facilities. Okay, there are checklists. Like for example, in the service, the feeder sizes, the conductors, something like that, no? So conducting audit with the proper signs and barriers. Okay, so if you can look at in the system or in the electrical rooms, where you can notice there are barriers, no? So this is part more on the interview of the technicians of these facilities. Okay, so that is a part of the initial audit. Now, the actual audit, okay, so in the actual audit, or we call it on-site visit and inspection to spot potential electrical hazards as per the scope of the audit. So this might include the incoming supply, receiving section, electrical equipment installed in building, earthing, cabling, loose cabling, lighting protection, temporary wiring, maintenance condition, electrical fire hazards, shock potential, and others. Okay, so notice that the scope of actual audit or the actual visit for inspection to spot the potential hazards during the of this safety audit. So some of these checklists in conducting electrical inspection were is only a guide. I took that of my reference to have this checklist in conducting electrical inspection. So here we have this electrical inspection checklist, a title with services, feeders, and branch circuits. Take the date, who conduct the inspection, the locations, and what are the comments. So here the checklist, you can simply check the items if it is applicable, where the referencer, the NEC references, but we can also do changes in terms of Philippine Electrical Code references at what particular sections in the code. Then what will be the comments? It might not all of these items will be applicable during the actual testings. Okay, so that is for services, feeders, and for the branch circuit. So here we have also these feeders. So you can, or some will be omitted or eliminated if not applicable. And of course, means every time that you conduct, if you find out for particular items under the feeders, then refer to the code in the PIC, then you can do the comments on it. So in the branch circuits, same. There are a lot of items here under the branch circuits. can place the comments here, no, during the site visit or actual audit. Then another areas to inspect, the grounding and banding. So after taking the checklist here, if there you can find some item which is not referred or violation, then place the comments in general. You can write all your in a summarized form here so that you can define that at particular area, grounding and banding, there are certain hazards on it, so that the management, after you do the report, so after the site visit or actual inspection, so you can have this report submitted to the management for the for the recommendations. No? So we have this commercial and industrial institution. So this is very common items here, common to commercial and industrial institution. So then you can do some reference, not necessarily the neck, but you can do it also under the Philippine Electrical Code section. No? Then the then for motors, air conditioning and refrigerators, so that will be also included. So I got only some of this, but there are a lot where you can do the checklist. You can do the checking for the particular, no, not only for buildings or facilities, but could be also useful in taking the audit residences. Here for a transformers, some few of items needed to ask by the building engineers. So by inspection, then you can do the comments also. Then another areas to inspect, the emergency and standby system and fire pumps. So if there are violations or hazards you find out, then you can do the comments here. Okay, so for the emergency systems, so another areas to conduct an audit or little safety audit. So in the emergency systems, no? So this is only a sample checklist, but you can also do some reference to based on the what is in the in the plan, no, in the facilities. So in the actual audit, no, during the field visit, the verification particular installation compared to the available drawing, so such as electrical single line diagram, earthing layout, is also administered. So in my experience in conducting electrical safety audit in a building, so where there are modifications in terms of single line diagram, so where the electrical plans that I asked for in conducting electrical safety audit were as a different in the actual situations. Might be 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, where I'm also asking to have the plan of the building in order to reflect all the connected loads of the entire facilities. Okay, so discussion with members of the House, review of documentation, records all the relevant maintenance documentation, test records, electrical records, and electrical inspector reports. So that is also one of the asking to the building engineers during the audit for when was the last time the transformer, the major electrical equipment having this maintenance or testing. Then if they are confirmed, then I'll be also asking for the result. Okay, so by looking at the document submitted by the third party or by the who conducted the testing. Submission, the element or the ultimate electrical safety audit report back to client incorporating agreed changes and comments. So these are the areas or major areas for inspection and electrical safety audit, no? The substation, the main power transformer, the distribution transformers, PCC room, MCCs, lighting panel, distribution boards, critical motors. So those are some or areas for inspection in the electrical safety audit. So in the field visit involves visiting the plant to identify electrical hazards as per the scope of this electrical safety audit. So those are the outdoor substation and main transformer. So some buildings where the transformer are inside. Okay. So electrical equipment installed, the cabling and distribution transformers, earthing, lightning protections, loose cabling, temporary wires become permanent, electrical fire hazards, potentials, and maintenance condition. Where most of the building I facilitated, so they are more into a regular conducting maintenance. No? So it's not only the electrical cables tightening, but doing also the null test of their generators, no, during weekends. So the verification of the actual installation against available drawing is also carried out during the field visit. So that is why the qualified to conduct safety audit must ask first the electrical plans, available drawing. So likewise, during the be carried out also if this is uh, still in the electrical room where all the drawings found out in the actual operations. Then during the safety audit or the field visit, there will be a discussion with safety and other electrical personnel. There will be a meeting. So it will be a review of the documentation and records. So if there are these results last year being inspected, we'll be making the reasons for conducting another test, major electrical equipment. So areas that need to focus study, no, for during the discussion will have to be looked into in depth. No, that's why there are meetings or questions on the building engineer. So the aspects that need focus study president in the area, if there is electrical panel flash incidents, major statutory non-compliance. So that's why there are building officials in the city will conduct the inspections of building. No, so likewise happening in Cebu City, where before the building or the facilities will be renewed their business permit, so they will ask to the professionals not only electrical but also other trades, no, like mechanical, structural, architectural, plumbing, and electronics. So these are the requirements, certification that the building is safety in reliability to operate of their buildings, no, of their operations. So before the local government will give the renewal of their business permit. So going back to this discussions. So likewise, the clarifications of the per building personnel will help to ascertain facts and to understand the systems in a better manner. So also on the on-site interaction will help to clear many doubts and to suggest many practical solutions to the plant. All relevant maintenance, documentation, test records, electrical records, the inspector reports, the original equipment manufacturer, service manuals, historic cards are subject to detailed examinations under this on-site visit. And all relevant drawings are also checked against actual installations, are commended with reference to applicable standards. But most of the building that I inspected, so every electrical room, they put electrical line diagram. So if there are no changes, then that will be good. So in the post ESA element, or meaning after the on-site visit or the field visit, then the professional conducting the electrical safety audit will have a report format, then the implementation, priority ranking. So after the findings, the number of hazards identified in the facilities. Okay, so it will be priority. No, it will be ranked according to the implementation, depending on the building personnel or building management. So considering the aspects such as clarity of report, usefulness to the client, and to streamline the report. The report format where observation and recommendation are written together. Non-tabular format is more on tabular. The tabular report format helps to streamline the report by shading the written matter, making the report crisp and focused. So where after the report will be submitted to the management, then there will be a briefing. Okay, there will be a briefing to the management who invited the inspector to conduct the electrical safety audit. Then likewise, there is also the duration of this electrical safety audit. So the or the professionals conducted the electrical safety audit. So there's a time to prepare all the report and submitted to the building management, and schedule for a meeting for further discussions what is found during the electrical safety audit. So the next slides here most likely are the pictures taken during in conducting electrical safety inspection in buildings or in one of the building. Now I also included some of the requirements of the building where this is the checklist from the building, from the office, the building officials. No, what are the requirements? So most likely here, identify the electrical section. They're asked to certification from the professional electrical engineer. So these are the requirements in order to renew their business permit. Okay, so for electrical section, asking for the professional electrical engineer a certification. So again, personally, before giving this certification, I'll be conducting a site visit first. So the one that I mentioned earlier, by asking for the electrical plan, then the testing results of every electrical major equipment, then scanning or meager testing for some major panel boards. Then from that, or interview from the building engineer or building technicians. So from that, that will be before I'll give the certification that the building is safe to operate and reliable to operate. Okay, of course, if there are call outs, if there are hazards identified during the visit, then it will be noticed, it will be notified by to the building engineer. But the certification is only the certification that the building is operational, safe and reliable. But the call outs is only intended for the building management to verify, to do. So there's some recommendation also given to the building management to correct or to call for a contractor to do the actions. Okay? So this is how the checklist by the city government, the local government unit in the building official or building in the OBO sections. So this is one of the requirements to look for the electrical plans. Then looking at who signed and sealed or prepared for the design. Then looking at the transformer capacity versus the transformer capacity in the plants. If still the same, should be the same. Then visiting also the distribution, the switch gear. So of course, during the inspection, as mentioned earlier, that prior to go around the building facilities, so asking permission to take pictures, but never put some names, what building is this. So that is also my, what do you call this one, a permission asked from the building management. Then go to the pump room or generator. Then the fire pump. So for their for the water systems. So assisting by the building personnel during the inspection. But take note, it's more on the data gathering, the options, how much voltage being supplied, the power factor, the common electrical quantities being gathered during these inspections. Then likewise, an opportunity also to look at the hazards during the inspection, like this. So this is what the considers the hazard, but another thing, a good practice also in this part, where PPE also utilized or being used by the building personnel. But these two then considered as a hazard, although it's already reflected to the report, then that will be the call out. So it still depends on the building management or building engineer, the hazards na identified during the visit or during the audit. Okay, at the same time, this one, some panel boards are being opened to check for the tenants. So it is properly placed, the single line diagram of this particular panel boards. Then the metering setups. Okay. So a professional electrical safety audit will provide us with the information you need in order to protect our business or your business or the client business. Okay. I think that's all for my deliverable. So again, so as what we have in our IIEE, that electrical safety will start with me. Thank you, everyone. Larry?
Yeah. Super, Sir Militar, no? Kay, I think wala mang gini question. Siguro
Gutom na.
nakasabot ka. Good. You know, if you
The
are the
last,
last,
kay magdali na.
yes, pagdali na ko ban. No, siguro, very, kuha na sila nga, sabot na sila, and you presented a very complete sample in time. You presented the actual setup, sir, sa how to do the
Although
audit.
we will include
Ana siguro.
siguro, Larry, regarding the katong checklist, but the only na sample, but I have a file that I could share also with this PowerPoint, so that they can look at anytime they want, no, for the checklist. So sa comprehensive checklist nga we can share it to the participants.
May isang tanong pala dito, sir. Is it allowed po ba na mag-ESA si safety practitioner with ACE 01 to ACE 03 certificate and RMA license?
Now, as long as mentioned earlier, no, that those who are qualified for the professional electrical engineers, likewise the registered electrical engineers are qualified to conduct the electrical safety audit. But it doesn't mean that the license are not do, but provision of this IIEE and PEE.
Okay. I think that would be all siguro, sir. Wala nang tanong ito. So we will award na siguro the certificate of appreciation, the last but not the least. So certificate of appreciation is presented to Engineer Roel and Militar for imparting valuable insights as resource speaker on the topic electrical safety audit in industrial facilities, held on March 12, 2023 via Zoom conferencing. Signed by Engineer Joseph Darin Claire S. Solikar, the chairman of IIEE Training and Continuing Professional Development Committee, Engineer Alberto R. Herrera Jr., 2023 IIEE National Secretary, Engineer Catalino E. Rania, 2023 IIEE VP Technical Affairs, and of course, our IIEE National President 2023 Engineer Lendon R. Baguio. Salamat kay sa
Thank
mga
you,
Sir
Larry.
Militar.
Thank you.
Now,